Bible in a Year, day 183. This is 2 Kings 1 through 4. We're going to be getting into Elijah today. So, how cool is that? Then Moab rebelled against Israel and the death of Ahab. And Uzziah fell down through the lattice in the upper chamber that was in Samaria. And he was sick, and he sent messengers and said unto them, Go inquire of Baal-zebub, the god of Ekron, whether I shall cover this disease. Whether I shall recover of this disease. The Beelzebub. My goodness. But, this is verse 3, the angel of Jehovah said to Elijah the Tishbite, Arise, go up, meet the messenger of the king of Samaria, and say unto them, Is it not because there is not a God in Israel that ye go inquire of Baal-zebub, the god of Ekron? Now therefore thus saith Jehovah, Thou shalt not come down from that bed which are gone up, but thou shalt surely die. And Elijah departed. And when the messengers turned back to him, he said unto them, Why are ye now turned back? And they said unto him, There came a man up to meet us, and he said, Go. And he came unto us, and he said, Go, turn again unto the king that sent you, and say to him, Thus saith Jehovah, Is it not because there is not a God in Israel, that thou sendest and to inquire of Beelzebub, god of Ekron? Therefore thou shalt not come down from that bed on which thou art gone up, but thou shalt surely die. And he said unto them, What manner of man was he that came to meet you, and told you these words? And they answered him, He was a hairy man, and girt with the girdle of leather about his loins. And he said, It is Elijah the Tishbite. And then the king sent unto him a captain of 50 with his 50. And he went up to him, and behold, he sat on the top of a hill, and he spake unto him, And thou, man of God, hath the king said, Come down. And Elijah answered and said to the captain of 50, If I be a man of God, then let fire come down from heaven and consume thee and thy 50. And there came down fire from heaven and consumed him and his 50. Wow. Alvin, how's it going? Good morning. I am reading 1 Kings. This is 1 Kings 1, verse 11. And also he sent unto him a captain of 50 and his 50. And he answered and said unto him, O man of God, thus how hath the king said, Come down quickly. And Elijah answered and said unto them, If I be a man of God, let fire come down from heaven and consume thee and thy 50. And the fire of God came down from heaven and consumed him and his 50. Then he sent again a captain of the third 50 with his 50. And the third captain of 50 went up and came and fell on his knees before Elijah and besought him and said unto him, O man of God, I pray thee, let my life and the life of these 50 of thy servants be precious in thy sight. And behold, there came down fire from heaven and burned up the two captains of the former 50s and their 50s. And let my life be precious in thy sight. So he knows. He knows what happened to the other two groups. And the angel of Jehovah said unto Elijah, Go down with him, and be not afraid of him. And he arose, and he went down with him unto the king. And he said unto him, Thus saith Jehovah, Forasmuch as thou hast sent messengers to inquire of Baal-zebub, the god of Ekron, is it not because there is no God in Israel to inquire of his word? Therefore thou shalt not come off that bed which thou art gone up, but thou shalt surely die. So he died according to the word of Jehovah which Elijah had spoken. And Joram reigned in his stead, and in the 2nd year of Joram, the son of Jehoshaphat, king of Judah, because he had no son. Now the rest of the acts of Uzziah which he did, are they not written in the book of Chronicles of Kings of Israel? And it came to pass, when Jehovah would take up Elijah to heaven by a whirlwind, that Elijah went with Elisha from Gilgal. And Elijah said unto Elisha, Tarry here, I pray thee, for Jehovah hath sent me to Bethel. And Elisha said unto him, As the Lord liveth, and as thy soul liveth, I will not leave thee. So they went down to Bethel. And the sons of the prophets were at Bethel, and came unto Elisha, and said unto him, Knowest that thou, Jehovah, will take away thy master and thy head today? And he said, Yea, I know it. Ye hold your peace. And Elijah said unto him, Elisha, tarry here, and pray thee, for Jehovah hath sent me to Jericho. And he said, As the Lord liveth, and thy soul liveth, I will not leave thee. So they came to Jericho. And the sons of the prophets that were at Jericho came unto Elijah, and said unto him, Knowest thou that Jehovah will take away thy master from thy head today? So I think they're going to take his head. And he answered, Yea, I know it, and ye hold your peace. And Elijah said unto him, Tarry, I pray thee here, for Jehovah hath sent me to Jordan, and he hath said, The Lord liveth, and thy soul liveth, and I will not leave thee. And they two went on. And 50 men of the sons of the prophets went and stood to view afar off, and the two stood by the Jordan. And Elijah took his mantle and wrapped it together, and smote the waters, and they were divided hither and thither. So the two went over on dry ground. And it came to pass, when they were gone over, that Elijah said unto Elisha, Ask what I shall do for thee, before I be taken away from thee. And Elisha said, I pray thee, let a double portion of thy spirit be upon me. And he said, Thou ask hard things, nevertheless. And then he said, Thou hast asked hard thing. Nevertheless, if thou see me when I am taken from thee, it shall be so unto thee. But if not, it shall not be so. And it came to pass, as they still went on, that they talked. And behold, there appeared a chariot of fire and horses of fire, and they parted them both asunder. And Elijah went up by a whirlwind into heaven. And Elisha saw it, and he cried, my father, the chariot of Israel, the horsemen thereof. And he saw him no more. And he took a hold of his own clothes, and he rent them in two pieces, and took up also the mantle of Elijah, and fell from him. And he went back, and he stood by the bank of the Jordan. And he took the mantle of Elijah that fell from him, and smote the waters, and said, Where is Jehovah God of Elijah? And then he sent, and he has smitten the waters, and they parted hither. And Elisha went over. And when the sons of the prophets were to view at Jericho saw him, they said, The spirit of Elijah does rest on Elisha. So it's the J and the S. The Elijah and Elijah and Elisha. And they came to meet him, and bowed themselves to the ground before him. And they said unto him, Behold, now there be with thy servants 50 strong men. Let them go, we pray thee, and seek the master, unless peradventure the spirit of Jehovah hath taken him up, and hath cast upon the mountain, or into some valley. And he said, Ye shall not send. And when they urged him till he was ashamed, he said, Send. And they sent before 50 men. They sought 3 days, but found him not. And when they came again to him, he tarried at Jericho. And he said unto them, Did I not say unto you, Go not? And the men of the city said unto Elisha, Behold, I pray thee, the situation of this city is pleasant, and my Lord seeth, but thy water is not, and the ground is barren. And he said, Bring me a new curse, and put salt therein. And they brought it to him. And when he brought forth the spring of waters, and he cast the salt in there, and said, Thus saith Jehovah, I have healed these waters, and there shall not be hence for any more death on the barren land. So the waters were healed unto this day, according to the saying of Elisha, which he spake. And he went up from whence unto Bethel. As he was going up by the way, there came forth little children out of the city, and they mocked him. They mocked him. And they said unto him, Go up, thou bald head. Oh man, the last video I made, somebody was commenting on my hairline. Yeah, I'm an old man. Watch, it does not go good for them. Oh, O thou bald head. And he turned back and he looked on them and he cursed them in the name of Jehovah. And there came forth 2 she-bears out of the wood and forced and there and tear 42 children, tear 42 children of them. Okay, so these kids come out and they bust on his appearance, his bald head. Hey, Baldy. And he calls out 2 she-bears and the she-bears tear up these kids. And he went forth into Mount Carmel. From hence he returned to Samaria. Now Joram, son of Ahab, began to reign over Israel and Samaria in the 18th year of Jehoshaphat, the king of Judah. So this is what's going on in the northern kingdom. Joram's taken over because he was another son of Ahab. And Ariah's, he died and he didn't have any sons. So Joram takes over. And that's what's happening up there. And then this is in the 18th year of Jehoshaphat, king of Judah. And he in the eighth year of Jehoshaphat. And he reigned 12 years. And he wrought evil in the sight of Jehovah, but not like his father, and like his mother, for he put away the image of Baal that his father had made. So Joram is not as wicked as those guys. Levin Laren, good morning, good morning. Nevertheless, he cleaved unto the sins of Jeroboam. Oh, he cleaved unto the sins of Jeroboam. That's not good. Okay, the son of Nebat, which made Israel to sin, and he departed not from. Okay, so he is still doing the sins of Jeroboam, though. So he puts away the Baal. But what are they doing? What's the sins of Jeroboam that Jeroboam did beside the altars to Baal? Yeah, he had altars to Jehovah outside of Jerusalem. No bueno. That's no good. Yikes. It says not to do that in Deuteronomy 12. It says over and over again. And then it repeats it again in Deuteronomy 16. Okay, guys. If you come into the truth and you're like, oh, wow, we should be doing these commandments. And what's these feast things? Don't do the feasts outside the land. Okay? It's wicked. You got to clean the place up. Here's the kicker. God comes and cleans the place up. Yeah, he does it with fire. It's called, it happens in the tribulation. Before he comes back, he's cleaning house. Mesha, king of Moab, and the sheepmaster, and rendered unto the king of Israel 100,000 lambs and 100,000 rams with wool. And it came to pass when Ahab was dead, and the king of Moab rebelled against the king of Israel. And the king Joram went out of Samaria the same time and numbered all Israel. And when he went and he sent to Jehoshaphat, king of Judah, saying, the king of Moab hath rebelled against me. Wilt thou go up with me against Moab to battle? And he said, I will go up. Art thou as my people, thy people, and my horses as thy horses. And he said, which way shall ye go up? And he answered, the way through the wilderness of Edom. So the king of Israel went, and the king of Judah, and the king of Edom, and they all fetched a compass 7 days' journey. And there was no water for the host and for the cattle that followed them. And the king of Israel said, alas, that Jehovah hath called unto thee 3 kings together to deliver them into the hand of Moab. Yikes. But Jehoshaphat said, is there not there a prophet of the Jehovah that we may inquire of him? And one of the king of Israel, the servants answered and said, there is Elisha, the son of Shaphat, which poured the water on the hands of Elijah. And Jehoshaphat said, the word of Jehovah is with him. So the king of Israel and Jehoshaphat, the king of Edom, went down to him. And Elijah said unto the king of Israel, what have I to do with thee? Get thee to the prophets of thy father and to the prophets of thy mother. And to the king of Israel said unto him, nay, for Jehovah hath called thee, these 3 kings together, to deliver them into the hand of Moab. And Elisha said, as Jehovah of hosts liveth, before him I stand. Surely, were it not I regard the presence of Jehoshaphat, the king of Judah, I would not look forward nor see thee. Okay, but only because Jehoshaphat was there is he going to talk to them at all. Because why? He says, why don't you go to your little gods that don't save? Okay, the little g gods. He's telling them, because what do? They have their altars to sin all over the northern kingdom. When I was there, you go to a town, and it's called the Tel of Megiddo, and it's a town that's it's just town upon town, and it's a big heap in the middle of the valley of Armageddon, and they have the Tel of Megiddo, and there is an altar. And I didn't even get it when I was there. This is like 2016. I didn't even get it that it was the northern tribes of Israel that had these altars and that were doing the child sacrifices. I didn't get it. I thought it was like the heathen, and then they took it over from the heathen, because here I am, reading the Bible but not getting it at all until I started doing what it says. Okay, you need the Spirit of truth, folks. Without the Spirit of truth, you're not going to understand the Bible at all. It's like a riddle. Okay, so you need the second comforter to decipher the riddle for you. And you're only going to get it pieces by pieces. Okay, you can't handle all this at once. This is wild. Okay, so now Elijah says, and he said, so Elijah said, the only reason he's there is because of Jehoshaphat. But now bring me a minstrel. And it came to pass, when the minstrel played, the harpers harped, that the hand of Jehovah came upon him. And he said, thus saith Jehovah, make this valley full of ditches. For thus saith Jehovah, ye shall not see the wind, neither shall ye see rain, that the valley shall be filled with water, that ye may drink, both ye and your cattle and your beasts. But this is a light thing in the sight of Jehovah. He will deliver the Moabites into your hand. And ye shall smite every fenced city and every choice city, and ye shall fell every good tree, and stop all the wells of water, and mar every good piece of land with stones. And it came to pass in the morning, when the meat offering was offered, that, behold, there came water by the way of Edom, and the country was filled with water. And when the Moabites heard that the kings were come to fight against them, they gathered all they were able to put on armor, and went upward, and stood in the border. And they rose up early in the morning. And the sun shone upon the water, and the Moabites saw the water on the other side as red as blood. And as this is the blood of kings, they surely slain, and they have smitten one another. Now therefore Moab to the spoil. And when it came to the camp of Israel, the Israelites rose up and smote the Moabites, so that they fled before them. But they went toward the smiting the Moabites, even in their country. And they beat down the cities on every good piece of land that was every man his stone, and filled it, and they stopped all the wells of water, and felled all the good trees. Only in Kir-Hares they left the stones thereof, and howbeit the slingers went about it, and smote it. And when the king of Moab saw the battle was too sore for him, he took the 700 men that drew sword, and brake through even unto the king of Edom, but they could not. And they took the eldest son that should have reigned in his stead, and offered him for a burnt offering upon the wall. And there was a great indignation against Israel, and they departed from him, and returned unto their land. Chapter 4. This is now 1 Kings chapter 4. And now there cried a certain woman of the wives of the sons of the prophets unto Elijah, saying, Thy servant my husband is dead, and thou knowest that thy servant did fear Jehovah, and the creditor is come to take my 2 sons to be a bondman. And Elijah went unto her, What shall I do for thee? Tell me, what hast thou in thy house? And she said, Thine handmaid hath not anything in this house, save a pot of oil. And he said, Go, borrow thee vessel abroad, and all thy neighbors, and empty thy vessel, and borrow it not a few. And when thou art come in it, and thou shalt shut the door upon thee and thy sons, and shalt pour out unto all those vessels, and thou shalt set aside which is full. And she went from him, and shut the door upon her sons, who brought the vessels to her, and she poured it out. And it came to pass, the vessels were full. And she said unto her sons, Bring me yet a vessel into her. And there is not a vessel more, and the oil stayed. And she came to the man of God, and he said, Go, sell the oil, pay thy debt, and live, and thy children of all rest. Okay, that is coming to the aid in saving the fatherless and the widow. And it fell on that day that Elijah had passed Shuman. There was a great woman, and she constrained him to eat bread. And so it was that as oft as he passed by and turned in hither to eat bread, and she said unto her husband, Behold now, perceive, this is a holy man of God, which passes by us continually. Let us make a little chamber, I pray thee, on the wall, and let us set for him there bread, and a table, and a stool, and a candlestick. And it shall be, when he cometh to us, that he shall turn in hither. And it fell on that day that he came hither, that he turned into the chamber, and lay there. Oh, and he laid there. And he said to Gehazi, his servant, Call this Shulamite. And when he had called her, she stood before him. And she said unto him, Say now unto her, Behold, thou shalt have been careful for us for all this care. What is to be done for thee? Wouldest thou be spoken for to the king or to the captain of hosts? And she answered, And dwelt among my own people. And he said, What then is to be done for her? And Gehazi answered, Verily, she hath no child, and her husband is old. And he said, Call her. And when he had called her, she stood at the door. And he said, About this season, according to the time of life, thou shalt embrace a son. And she said, Nay, my lord, thou art a man of God, but do not lie unto thy handmaid. And the woman conceived and bare a son. And that season Elijah had said to her, According to this time of life. And when that child was grown, and it fell on the day, he went out to his father into the reapers. And he said unto his father, My head, my head. And he said to a lad, Carry him to his mother. And when he had taken him and brought him to his mother, he sat on her knees till noon, and they then died. And she went up and laid on him in the bed of the man of God, and shut the door upon him, and went out. And she called unto her husband, and he said, Send me, I pray thee, one of the young men, and one of the asses, that I may run to the man of God and come again. And he said, Therefore wilt thou go to him this day? It is neither new moon nor a Sabbath. And she said, It shall be well. And she saddled an ass, and said to her servant, Drive forward, and slack not thy riding for me, except I bid thee. And she went up and came to the man of God, to the Mount Carmel. And it came to pass, when the man of God saw her afar off, he said to Gehazi his servant, Behold, yonder is that Shulamite. Run now, I pray thee, to meet her, and say to her, Is it well with thee? Is it with thy husband? Is it well with the child? And she answered, It is well. And when she came to the man of God to the hill, she caught him by the feet. But Gehazi came near to thrust her away. And the man of God said, Let her alone, for her soul is vexed with her. And Jehovah hath hid it from me, and hath not told me. When she did, I did desire the son of my Lord. Did I not say, Do not deceive me? Then he said to Gehazi, Gird up thy loins, and take thy staff in thy hands, and go thy way. If thou meet any man, salute him not. And if I salute thee, answer him not again, and lay my staff upon the face of the child. And the mother of the child said, As Jehovah liveth, and as the soul liveth, I will not leave thee. And he arose and followed her. And Gehazi passed on before them, and laid the staff upon the face of the child, but there was neither voice nor hearing thereof. And he went again to meet him, and told him, saying, The child was not awakened. And when Elijah was come into the house, behold, the child was dead, and laid upon his bed. He went in therefore, and shut the door upon them twain, and prayed unto Jehovah. And he went up and lay upon the child, and put his mouth upon his mouth, and his eyes upon his eyes, and his hands upon his hands. And he stretched himself upon the child in the flesh, and the child waxed warm. And he returned and walked in the house to and fro, and went up and stretched himself upon the child, and sneezed 7 times. And the child opened his eyes. And he called Gehazi, and he said, Call the Shulamite. So he called her, and when he went up and he come into him, he said, Take take up thy son. And she went in and fell at his feet and bowed herself to the ground and took up her son and went out. And Elijah came to Gilgal, and there was dearth in the land. And the sons of the prophets were sitting before him. And he said unto his servant, set on the great pot and the pottage for the sons of the prophets. And one went out into the field in the herbs and found a wild vine and gathered there wild gourds and his a lapful. And he came and he shred them into the pot of pottage, and they knew them not. So they poured out for the men to eat. And it came to pass that they were eating of the pottage, that they cried out, and they said, O man of God, there is dearth upon the land, and they could not eat thereof. And then said, then bring a meal, and it cast upon the pot, and said to the pour out for the people, that they may eat. And there was no harm in the pot. And there came a man from Baal Shereth, and brought a man of God, and he brought the man of God bread, and first fruits, 20 loaves of barley, and full ears of corn in the husk thereof. And he said, give unto the people that they may eat. And the servitor said, what? Should I set this before 100 men? And he said again, give the people that they may eat. For thus saith Jehovah, they shall eat, and they shall leave it thereof, and they shall leave thereof. So he set it before them, and they did eat, and they left thereof, according to the word of Jehovah. All right, so there they had, man. Okay, that's the first multiplication. Okay, so Yeshua didn't make it up. He's following in the footsteps of Elisha, where he gets not enough food to feed everybody, but everybody is fed. Why? What do they feed with? The Word of God, folks. So the people came to eat at the multiplication, and they were fed, okay, from 2 loaves. They didn't care. I mean, it's about hearing the Word, okay? That's how you get fed. Oh, I forget where it's at, okay? Where it says, I am the bread of life, okay? Eat for me, okay? And the communion is taking in what he says, okay? And that's to follow the commandments, okay? In red letters. Yeah, call him John. Yeah, you're deceived, brother. You are deceived, my friend. Yeah. It's really too bad that the Christians are such bad witnesses. They do not understand the Bible. It's really sad. Yeshua came to teach what Moses taught. That's what it says in Deuteronomy 18. I'm sending the capital P prophet into the midst of thee from the fiery mountain, you know. Yeah, I came from my father. But look at the name you just used there, Kolam Jihad. Okay? He comes in his father's name. It says, one will come in his own name, and him you will receive. But I come in my father's name, and you receive me not. His name is Jehovah. God's name is Jehovah. Okay? And Yeshua's name means Jehovah is salvation. Okay, so it's Yeshua and Jehovah. And they are two. And then look, everybody's running around saying, oh, Jesus is God. Yeah. Yeshua is the servant of God. All right? So there we go. So we have scoffers and mockers. As the Bible says, we're gonna, amen. So, prophecy fulfilled today, right here. Amen. I love you guys.